All right. So, like I said, you have to understand the requirements, then you connect your data and begin your analysis. So you've done all that. To view your data, you come straight up here. You see where we have this icon that says view data. That's what you click on. When you click on it, you bring all those data you are analyzing from. So you can see every information here, quarter one to all other information, including them. So let's go straight to, you can also download it. You can download it by clicking on download. It's going to download it for you. But it's already here in Tableau. So to analyze, like I said, the first thing we are looking at is what? We have to look at what are the top 5 brands by sales. So it's going to be a quick one. First of all, change this sheet, the title column. So just put it there, top 5 brands. Like I said, you highlight it if you want to format the text. Bold, centralize, color, put it blue. Tableau bold for title columns. Okay. So top 5 brands by sales. Now, to start analyzing this, you are going to take note of that we have columns and rows. So whatever you're analyzing must fit into these 2 headlines. So it's brand and sales. So I'll look for brand, I'll drag it and put it inside rows. I'll also go and look for the sales, which is this. If it was amount, whatever it is, I'll drag it and put it inside columns. So that gives me the brands and all the brands we have and their sales. But the question says, what are the top 5 brands by sales? Now, before I do that, if we come over here, we'll see that we are not seeing the actual sales generated for each of these brands unless we take our cursor to it. For that reason, you need to do what we call labeling in Tableau. What do I mean? We want the amount to appear on each of the brands. So I'm going to drag the brands itself and put it inside this label box you can see here on this section. So I will go and drag brands and put it inside label. Once I do that, we now have brands is showing the name of the brands. Okay, but we want the value itself. So it's not brands I will drag inside. I will drag sales, the amounts, and put inside, because you can see that it's like a repetition of the names again on it. So I'll drag the sales amount into the label. Then I'll remove brands that we have. It's not showing Apple this, where this, but we already have the names here. So let me just remove that. I'll click on this arrow close to it. Let me come again, this arrow close to brands there, and select remove. So it has removed it. So this is fine. I believe this is fine. Now, if you want to change this to any other format you want to use, just come over here where we have show me by the top. You can change it. If you want to use these stats bars, if you want to use these 3 maps, you can see it showing. Same way, you can do all that. But what we are working with is our bar chart that we have here. So let me put that sales, because each time you change over to any of them, it brings up the label for you to work with. But if you don't want to do that, you can also click on your Ctrl W. If you click on Ctrl W, it's going to change it over to this other format. So depending on which format do you want to use, do you want to use that? Let me click on Ctrl W on my keyboard. Do I want to use this format? I want to use the other stats format like this. I can do that. And then the labeling will also go out. So it's for you to bring back sales into the label box. So it actually show you that this for Apple, this for HTC, you see the amount of it, this for Lenovo, Oppo, and others. Now, the question says the top 5. So I also have to make sure this is arranged in such hierarchy. So what do? I'll go up here where we have all these options. You see this one that says descending, this arrow dropping down. I'll click on the arrow. So you can now see that it now arranges it immediately in such format. So the company will actually understand that yes, Apple came first, followed by Huawei, followed by Samsung. The last was Score Candy. So they will know whatever decision they want to make. Now, aside this, there is something called parameter. Okay, parameter makes it good for you in terms of your presentation. you can use the parameter to do that. Now, first of all, instead of going at the top here to have this sorting button, you can see here we have sales. You can see the sorting button is already there. You can also change it, navigate it this way. If you want it to move this way, you can click on that option there, and it also changes it for you. I believe that's good enough. Now let's do this. Instead of doing it even as it is like this, it still does not fulfill this question of top 5. It's still showing you every information. So for us to be able to present it, to show us the top 5, and also be able to do what we call swiping. Okay, maybe during your presentation, they now ask you, can we see the top 3? Just like that. How do you go about that? You must create a parameter. Now, before you create a parameter, we're going to filter out all this information that we have here. Okay, now this is what we are going to do, the way I do it. Okay, so I'm just going to come over here. This is the branch. I'm working with the branch. So I'm going to drag brands. This is how to create parameter. I'm going to drag brands into the filter box here. So I'll come here and drag these brands and put inside this filter box. Now, when you're putting it, be very careful. Don't just drag it and put it normal. If you see how I put it normal, nothing worked, nothing appeared. Okay, because it's expected that as you drag brands into that filter box, there should be a window that opens. So it did not, meaning that when you're dragging these brands or whatever be the option icon you're dragging, make sure you put it in this arrow. There's an arrow that appears here. So put it at the center of that arrow. Make sure just into that arrow. So I'm going to do it again. You can see when I entered it there, it now brings up this box, this window. And see this window that pops up. Now this window shows me all the brands we have. So what I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to go straight and select top. You can see this, that there are 4 options. We have general, wildcard, condition, and top. So I'll click on top. When I click on top, it brings this new box. I'm now going to come down and select by fields. Field now means by this information that we have here. This is a field. So I'll click there. Then I will then come here. But remember, we are talking about top 5 brands. Now, while coming here, I will not just come. I can change it to top 5. That's good enough. But I have to come and create parameter. So I'll come here. After changing it to 5, I'll click on the arrow and then select create a parameter. Create a parameter. Create a parameter. Now I'm working based on the sales. That's why sales is there. So when I click create a parameter, it brings this out. I'm now going to clear this and put top 5 brands. Or top 5 brands by sales. Once I do that, remember I said data type. Data type, you're going to change it. It's already an integer because we already entered 5 as our value. Assuming we did not follow that, we'll change it to integer. Display format is going to display the top 5 for us to see. Now we'll come down here. The value when workbook opens, current value, which I've already showed. Now, range of values, we are going to change it. What should be the minimum? Leave it in 1 if you like. What should be the maximum? You can change your maximum to any number you want to change. I can select the maximum. Okay, then I say what? Okay. So once I'm done with that, I will come and say apply. Then I say okay. So once I've done this, you now look by your side on the screen. You see we have parameters, top 5 brands by sales. It shows that we have created our what? Parameter. Remember, I said if you want to change this bar, you can just use Ctrl W. It will take it back to any format you want it to be. Now, I want Swiss to run this parameter. What do? I will come and right-click on the parameter and then select Show Parameter. When I click Show Parameter, you can see that it brought out the top 5, not 7 like before. Before what it was showing was the top 7. It was showing, in short, it was showing everything, all the brands we have. Whether it's 100 brands we are selling, it will show up. But this is how the process you pass through or you follow, or the procedure when you want to capture it according to the requirement, which says top 5. So you can see based on that setup we did, it is giving us the top 5 brands we have by sales. Both the labeling, everything captures. Now, if they are now telling you, okay, can we see the top 3 brands? You don't need to go back again. Why? Because I've already automated this. What do? I will come and swipe. That's why you see these top 5 brands by the side. I'll come here. We have already entered it here as 5. So I'll come here and swipe. They say, okay, we want to see the top 3, I'll come and swipe it to 3. It brings up the top 3. If they say they want to see the top 2, I'll swipe it to 2. It shows us that this is the top 2, that the top 2 is Apple at 17 million, followed by Huawei at 14 million. If they say the first, it keeps only Apple. I just drag it, that's Apple only. So this is just how, and the purpose of parameter. And see, if they say the top 4, this shows you the top 4. The top 5, which they actually told you, this shows you the top 5. Now, assuming we did not put maximum as 5, we wanted to put the total number, you can also do it. At that point, you're setting up your parameter. Maximum will be the total. Maybe the total was 7, you just put it 7. So that when you're now swiping, you can now swipe according. But I kept it 5 because the requirement was what is the top 5. So I kept it 5. And I believe whatever information they also need will be going above, okay, like from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 and to 1. So this is just how to do. So don't forget, you can increase your size here. You can decrease your size. Okay, maybe the size is not big enough. You can also change the color. There are a lot of colors you can actually decide to work with. Click on more colors if you want to add more color, more custom color, depending on what you want to do. There are a lot of things you can do there. So this is just how to provide answer to that very question. And if you want to change this, like I said, use Ctrl W. You can see I changes it for you, or the other way around.